Cool. So, welcome one and all. We're going to be. Oh, let's turn that off so I'm not hearing myself back. Um, yeah, welcome again to another live stream with me, Beardy. So, this evening's selection is Banished. If you've never played this game before, you're absolutely missing out. This is kind of on Steam, it's the kind of benchmark that all new medieval city builders get compared against, because it's just great. It's not overly complicated, but it's got enough depth to it to make it really a really compelling gameplay experience. So we're going to be starting a new game here. I've not prepared a seed or anything like that, so we'll just we'll randomly generate it. In fact, let's randomly generate the seed, and let's go with that. And with these types of games, what I tend to do is use some kind of pun on my name. So, Beardsville. Let's build Beardsville. So terrain type, we're going to stick with valleys. We don't want mountains. The terrain size, I'd like large, the biggest possible. Climate, we'll leave it on fair. Disasters, yeah, we'll leave it as on, and we'll start with medium conditions. So the different starting conditions just change the number of villagers you have and the amount of resources they bring with them. So the whole kind of story. That might be a grandiose term for this game, but the story in inverted commas is you've been banished from your previous town or civilization, and you're starting anew. So I am going to pray that I'm going to be near a river, a decent river, and also pray that I'm not surrounded by too much in terms of mountains. Want some nice open spaces to be able to build on. Oh, I suppose one thing that I should have just gone through before doing this, and let's just go back a second and have a look at mods. I've not put too many mods on. They're mostly just more crops and more resources that you can build. So just a bit of variety, really. So we've got Brussels sprouts, crop example. I'm not quite sure what is in that one, but that's okay. Dairy, milk, and creamery. So that's another building that we can use with the milk and the cattle that we'll have later in the game. Got some figs, got carrots, improved farming. So this is just you can build slightly larger farms, which isn't the reason I'm using it. The reason I'm using it is because it will allow us to build over kind of smaller mounds. Normally, if you don't have this installed, then you'll kind of have like a corner taken out of your farm if it goes to kind of slightly elevated ground. So improved farming just kind of gets rid of that. Let's turn that one. Oh, in fact, none of these are enabled at the moment. So let's enable the ones that we do want. So we'll have Brussels sprouts. We'll have crop example. Now, there's an error with this. This mod contains resources that conflict with another mod. Let's turn that one off then. Fig example. We'll get some carrots. We'll definitely have the improved farming. Ketchup. This mod is about tomatoes and ketchup industry. I'm not going to bother with that one. Don't want more iron or stone or wood. Smaller vendor buildings, definitely want those. Translucent. This mod can make all borders, buttons, dialog boxes of the game translucent. Not too bothered about that. Okay. Change to loaded mods requires the menu to be reloaded. Do you want to apply changes? Yes, we do. Okay, there we go. So got the mods set up. Let's now go back and start our map. So let's change the name back to Beardsville. Valleys, we want a large map. Fair climate, disasters on, starting conditions medium. Okay, fingers crossed for a good starting location. As I said, ideally we'll be near a good river, one where the trader boats can actually get down. And we'll also hope that we don't have too much in terms of mountains. So I'm going to immediately pause the game, spacebar to pause, and actually this, it couldn't have been nicer to me. That is a lot of lovely terrain for me to build on. Great, I'm really happy with that. So yeah, we'll kind of build the town out here on the shore. We'll have some fishing docks, and then we'll use this as our forestry area. Um, so in the first year of the game, what do we need? Well, we've got, I believe, 10 villages, and in fact, let's get some of the overlays on. So the three that I always have are that one. So this gives us our kind of resources and general condition of our villages. So I always like that one. I always like the event log. It's just good to know what's happening. And oh, there is no pin button. That's fine then. And the final one is the jobs assigned. There are a couple of others as well, but these are the ones that I always go for. In fact, let's pop that over in the corner. If you are watching, please say hello in the comments. It'd be nice to hear from you. Have you guys ever played Banished before? Are you fans of city builder games in general? Which ones do you enjoy? And yeah, I'll try and say hello and speak to as many of you as I can throughout. I should be able to see the comments coming up on my phone, so I'll try and keep an eye on that as much as I possibly can. Anyway, what do we need as a starting settlement? So we have 10 adults and 3 children. Not too bothered about the children, it's the 10 adults that are important here. And that means that we need 5 houses. I'm not going to build them all immediately, but I will just lay a few down. R to rotate, and can we? We can't really change the elevation or the pitch of the camera, which is a bit of a shame. So you can see those green arrows show that's the front, and that can kind of face onto a road. So I'm going to just immediately put 2 houses down here. We will want the other 3 before it becomes, well, late autumn. But even early winter would be fine to get all the houses down. But yeah, we'll build 2 wooden houses. What else shall we build? We'll build a bit of a road. Just goes along here and also goes out up there and down here. It's a nice little crossroads in the middle. What do we need? So some of the most important things are, of course, food. We've got very limited food, 1,800 stored there. Another thing that we'll want to consider as well is firewood. And to get firewood, we'll need a forestry industry. So I'm going to go ahead and deal with that first. Now, there's a lot of resources that are taking up space that I would like to be used for trees. So I'm also going to try and just remove little chunks of this as we're going. So we'll get rid of a little bit of iron and a little bit of stone. And let's build our first industry. So we want a forester lodge. So about there is perfect. Let's have it that way. So we want a forester lodge. We want a hunting cabin. And let's try and line this up nicely. But let's pop that around that way. And the final thing we'll want up here is the gatherer's hut, which is this one. And we are going to put a house up here to service those buildings as well. But we'll worry about that a little ways down the road. Let's get a road actually going up here. Oh, that unintentionally was absolutely perfect. Happy coincidence. Right. So with that, let's get them going. We can increase the speed here and go to times 10. So they've laid the foundations for those two houses, and they'll now start clearing out the things so that we can start building those buildings. So it will take a while, and in fact, that's one thing I should have done almost immediately. Because what they're having to do at the moment is like kind of mining these resources and then taking them all the way back to town, which is not a great use of time. So instead, let's put a stockpile down over here as well. Doesn't need to be massive. Let's do 4x3. And in fact, let's make that high priority. So to prioritize things, you go to the cog in the menu at the bottom and increase priority, and you can tell it which things to do first. So there we go. It's now got a storage area. Okay, we're into spring. How are we doing with these houses? Okay, yeah, they're totally focused up in the forest, which, to be honest, is exactly what I want them to be focused on. So I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, the foundations are ready. It just needs. Oh, of course, that's why it's not doing anything. So professions, everybody is set to labourer at the moment, and nobody is set to builder, which is a problem. So let's do 4 builders because we've got 12 spots for builders at the moment. 4 should suffice. And then once these buildings get completed, we can populate them with workers. So we'll do just 2 workers in the Forester Lodge. So this game does require a little bit of micromanagement of resources for a start, obviously, with it being a kind of people building crafting game, but also the professions as well. You'll see me playing around with the professions up here quite a lot, just kind of micromanaging and setting different priorities. Let's get the hut built over here, and that's the last thing that we're going to build in this area. After that, it's just going to be trying to make this area as green as possible, so we'll remove the rest of the resources, and then eventually the forester's hut, you can see here, it will both cut and plant trees. They do take some time to grow, of course, but that's okay. I want as many hunters as possible because yeah, the food is really, really scarce. Okay, and I'm just going to go with 2 gatherers. Okay, so let's take some of the builders off. We'll just have 1 builder. Okay, in fact, the only thing that's not built is that hut. So let's start thinking about the other things that we need in town before winter rolls around. So the next thing is going to be a woodcutter. So we'll pop that in right next to the storage barn. Hope that's correct. I'm just going to put the road down first because I'm not quite sure. There we go. And now we've put the woodcutter. Where is it? There it is. Woodcutter. Done. So that will provide us with some firewood. Get them going again. So yeah, the forester will chop some logs, and then the woodcutter will provide firewood. So in the resources tab up here, so we have logs at the top, and then immediately below it we have firewood. So we have 150. That is not going to last as the winter, so we do need to get going with that relatively soon. Now we can see that there's still a lot of people without homes. We've got 9 people without homes, in fact. So let's actually get one more house built in town. That will be our 4th, so we'll just need one more after that. But there is one other service building that I want to build soonish, and that's the blacksmith. I'm going to leave a little space so that a road can go down there, but we'll place the blacksmith. In fact, what does the blacksmith need? It needs iron and it needs wood eventually, or coal as well. Let's actually place it right by the storage pile. Makes more sense. Shorter trips. Bit of a road there. Okay. Not off to a bad start. Let's just do 2 labourers, 2 builders. Reserve of logs is low, which makes me think, in fact, yeah, I'm going to have to micromanage the resources a bit. They're not going to be able to chop trees quick enough for winter. And as I know that I'm going to be building my town out around here anyway, I'm quite happy to just start hacking away these trees. So if there's no kind of building tasks or supplying tasks to be done, they'll come and chop these trees down. Okay, we have our woodcutter. So let's get that up and going immediately. And I'm going to set the fuel limit relatively high, 700. We'll increase that a lot further eventually, but just for our small fledgling town getting started, 600 is more than enough. So what will happen is once he's created, once there is 600 firewood here, he'll stop. Again, I tend to micromanage it and then remove him from the woodcutter so that I can have more direct control over whatever the woodcutter is actually doing. Yeah. So how are we doing? There is a way. There we go. So this shows us this little kind of, I don't even know how to describe the shape. I suppose it's a spiral. If you click that, it tells you what they've gathered in this current season. So we've got some mushrooms, onions, berries, and roots. How is the woodcutter sludge doing? The forester sludge. It's got some stone, some iron, and some logs. So stone and iron is just the things it's been removing, to, getting them out of the way. How are we doing with the hunter? 4 leather, so that's a problem for year 2. We'll come back to leather a little bit later, and 160 venison. So still not making a ton of food, but we can see 1336. It's not bad. We're in early winter. I think we've probably got enough to tide us over at this stage. So, we are missing a home, aren't we? Yes, we are. I think because there are quite a lot of people working up here, we've got like, what, 3 hunters, 2 foresters, and 2 gatherers. I think it's probably the safest bet to build the 5th and final house up here. Just means that they don't have to keep commuting in and out of town. They can just live here. Somebody will come and get some, food and resources, bring it back to the house, and then they can just go to work over here. Just cuts down on some back and 2. We can see we've still got 6 people. Oh, somebody has just become an adult. Lovely stuff. Ideally, I would have actually built a... in fact, let's do it now. A fishing dock. Yeah, I should have probably done this a little bit sooner, actually. As I say, I think we're going to be fine for food, but it's definitely an industry that we want to get going. So let's do that. Cool. So yeah, the only thing we're missing, like essential things that we're missing, is the blacksmith. I say essential. It would be nice if it was there sooner rather than later. But more importantly, we need this house done. So I am going to once again make it a priority. So we'll drag over that red stuff, and everyone will start to focus on this above all other tasks. We really need that home. We are in the middle of, oh no, we're in late winter, and we've got 5 people without homes. Villagers do die. It's a constant battle, trying to keep your population growing. The way to get your population growing is to make sure that every family has its own home. Then they'll have kids and okay, so as you can see from the change of colours, we are coming out of winter now. It will tick over to early spring anytime now. I am very surprised nobody died. Yeah, we're in early spring now. No villagers died, which is a shock, since 5 of them do not have homes. Not good. So just while that's going, I'm just going to quickly pop over. There we go. Oh, sorry, pause because I alt-tabbed out of the game. Okay, so for year 2, what is our objective? Well, now that we've kind of got the village going, one more house is probably going to be good for us. So we'll build one more house in the town. We still need to do a bit of micromanagement of resources, so I'm just going to load up some collection. So we'll harvest all those trees. What have we not got a lot of? We've not got any stone, so let's get them collecting some stone. Is that not stone? Yeah. So they'll get round to that task eventually. We do need iron. We do have some, but we also need logs. So yeah, it's just a case of micromanaging and waiting and hoping. Yeah, he can't do firewood because we've got no logs. Yeah, we really need to actually just get chopping down more trees and take out all those as well. So the storage in this game, so the well, firewood, iron, logs, coal, and is that everything? Stone. Yeah, all of those go into these stockpiles, and then the storage bonds, they hold equipment and food. There are some other buildings that can hold food and equipment as well, and we'll get round to those eventually. Really not sure what's going on here. What is holding this up? 19 out of 55 stone, so yeah, not enough stone. That's the reason that the blacksmith hasn't been built. Let's get building that new home as well. Let's throw that one there. Bit of iron. Stone. Food is actually pretty good. Just like, oh, just over 1500, 1600 now. Food we're doing really well for. And that's even without the fishing industry. We have had a few births. That's why I like to have this event log here. It tells you when children are being born. So spring 2, child was born. Late spring 2, another was born, and another child became an adult. So is now a part of the workforce. We've got 13 adults and 5 kids. Now you'll see that there's a number in the middle of those. So 13 is the adults, and then a 0, and then the 5 are the children. The 0 is students. Now we're not going to be worrying about schools for quite some time yet. That makes the children become adults later in life, but it does give them an education, which means that they are more productive citizens. So they are absolutely worthwhile having. But when you are struggling for population early in the game, it's not a high priority. Okay, we have a blacksmith at long last. So let's get one in there. We can only make iron tools at the moment. We will, of course, be getting steel tools as soon as possible. There's a good reason for that that we'll probably get into on a later occasion. So again, food going pretty well. We could do with more resources though. So again, let's just do a swipe around the map and get the resources kind of mopped up a little bit. Need a lot more stone, so let's just get all of that. Could probably do with a bit more iron now that we are going to be producing more tools here. So yeah, the tools require logs and iron. So the Forester's Lodge is not really doing a lot at the moment, so I think I'm going to boost that up to 3. Let's have 3 out of 4 Foresters working here. We've got 3 labourers, no builders because everything's been built. Or anything? Actually, I suppose one other thing that we will want. I may not use it this year, but we will want the tailor as well. Because, ooh, yes, actually, we need to use the tailor as soon as humanly possible because we are almost out of hide coats. So where do I want to pop this? Let's. I don't want it to be too far away from the storage barn. That's where we'll go to pick up the leather and also to drop off the hide coats. So let's just put it here, and then we'll run a little road through here. Yeah, the red text, it just keeps on telling me the reserve of logs is low, the reserve of logs is low, the reserve of logs is low. So, yeah, I've really got to... Okay, we're in late autumn. We're almost round to winter again. And we are seriously lacking logs, but we do have tons of firewood. In fact, to the point where I'm going to tell it to stop working now. I'm not going to take him out of here just yet. I'm just going to get him to do other kind of menial gathering tasks. Food, 1700, not worried about that. Stone, we're getting there. Tools, we've got 50 now. In fact, we just reached our limit. I don't like 50 as a limit. I want as many of these tools as possible because they are going to be our main source of income. And we'll get into trading and things like that a little bit later. Year 3. What do we want year 3? Well, yeah, food is going well, but we've now got 7 children, so eventually we're going to have 20 adults, and I don't think the hunters and the gatherers... in fact, no, let's say farms for another year. I was going to suggest that we put farms in, but there's probably more efficient ways of getting the food up for now, since we are still quite a small population. Okay, middle of winter, doing good for the firewood, so I'm not too worried there. Again, food is going great. So you can see that when I've chopped these trees down, it has just left like little plants around here. These are all little forageables. To collect those, you just click remove resources, and it will take everything that it goes over. So let's get all of those things. I'll just add a bit more food to the stores. We don't have to worry about food going bad in this game, which is excellent. Well, to an extent. The food doesn't go bad, it doesn't go off, but you can get your farms and your orchards infected with parasites, which will kill the crops and quite possibly wipe out your population if you're not careful. So when those tips come up in the event log, it's very important that you do something about it as soon as possible. And the easiest way to deal with it is literally just chop all the crops down, destroy them. Because if there are kind of like 2 fields next to each other and the parasites start in one field, they will eventually jump over, and it can have a horrible, horrible knock-on effect. Right, we're gonna have to get rid of 1 hunter so that we can have 1 builder and 1 labourer. Let's get the woodcutter back doing his thing. Let's chop down more trees. And let's get more stone as well. I'm going to add one more house in. At the beginning of the game, I kind of just do one house a year so that you've got a very controlled growth over your population. We'll put that one in here. Oh, another thing that I could probably do with building is a well. Now, we are quite close to the water, but if there is a fire, and there will be fires, they would have to run all the way down to the waterfront. So I'd just like a well here so that it's a little bit quicker to extinguish those fires. Okay, the tailor is up and ready to go. Hard decisions to be made. Hard decisions. Okay, we're going to have to take foresters down to 2 as well, so that we can have a tailor working. So how many could we possibly build? We've got 40 leather, so we're not going to be able to make a ton of hide coats, but we've only got 9, so it's definitely a priority. Leather is really hard to come by early on in the game. We are going to want to build more kind of little hunter forester settlements around the map so that becomes less of an issue. Like here would be a really nice spot. Well, in fact, if you look at the radius for the hunting cabin, it's quite large and it gets wasted because of that mountain. So actually, probably not the best spot. Instead, what I might do is just put one. It's kind of encroaching on the town a little bit, but yeah, it might have to be over here. Yeah, so we will build another kind of forest ranger station over there soon. But we can't really do anything until we've got our population up. So I am okay. We have one house that's going to get built there. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to break the rule that I set out for myself earlier. I'm going to build 2 houses this year because we need babies. We need some babies. How is the fishing dock coming along? 295 fish, not bad. 300 just ticked over. Good. We've just had a spate of births and also one of the kids becoming an adult. And another one becoming an adult. So let's try and repopulate some of those buildings from earlier. So we'll put another forester in. Reserve of stone is low. So let's get on to that. Take all of those. In fact, let's collect everything because there's various bits of resources there. Take all of those. We'll take the stone. Then we'll switch to just stone, and we'll get rid of some of the stone in the forest. Because at the moment, with those stones there, means that trees can't grow, and we want this to be a lovely, dense little forest. Early autumn, so we're already getting round to... Oh, excellent. Got 52 hide jackets. I am very happy with that. They don't get consumed very quickly, so I'm going to turn it off and get the worker out of there so they can be used for something else. So in fact, let's repopulate the hunters. That's because obviously we'll get hides from hunters, so the more hunters we have, the more hides we'll get, and then when we have no more hide jackets, then at least we've got a nice little supply of leather to get building new jackets. Okay, taken along nicely. It's got 15 adults, 7 kids. We've got a second house on the way. How many houses have we got total now? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 16. So yeah, no, that's pretty good. We've got 15 adults. And yeah, that's enough houses for 2 adults per house, which means more babies, which is good. Yep, speaking of which, another baby born. So we've got 9 kids now. Of course, when we are growing our population, it does mean that our food supply is going to go down quicker. So need to just keep that in mind and repopulate some of the other buildings. So let's go to fishermen. Let's have 3 fishermen. 453 fish this season. Very nice. Let's do a little check on how all the other industries are going. So last year, well, we're not bothered about stone, but how about logs? So 98 logs last year, 107 this year, so that's good. It's an improvement. Gatherer's hut. Oh, I accidentally increased the number of gatherers. Onions to onions, more. Roots to roots, way more. Berries to berries, a little bit less, but that's okay. And mushrooms, more. So everything is, you know, the people are becoming better at their jobs. I think it works like that anyway. I don't know if they actually get improved stats through working in a profession. If they do, it's a kind of hidden mechanic. Let's take some of that iron. Got plenty of firewood, but we've got absolutely bugger all logs. So let's go on another cull, and I'm just gonna take down all of those. We'll also just kind of go around the edge of that forest too. So the deer, they will roam around the map, but they won't come into town. The moment things start getting built up, they'll stay away. So yeah, if we take these trees down, they'll kind of stop. Okay, just contradicting me. So they're going straight past. They won't stick around. Cool. 16 adults, 10 kids. We're in early spring of year 4. Got 157 tools, but I want that to keep going up, so let's make the limit to 50. Now 17 adults, 9 kids. Okay, let's first of all build our next house for this coming year. Let's just leave a space so that we can feed a road out that way. So 1 new house. Probably early to be doing this, but no, not hospital, not town hall, definitely not chapel. Cemetery might not be a bad thing, but it can wait for now. We will start seeing deaths from old age or from accidents in the not too distant future. But no, the thing that I would like to build: general store, farm stand, trading post. There we go. Is this thing. So I'm just going to try and build it a little bit away from the fishing hut. Trading posts are absolutely crucial to this game. It's what allows you to get livestock and seeds for your farms. And the reason we're making all of these tools is because we're just going to put all of the overflow into the trading post, and eventually we'll see a boat come sailing down and we can start trading with them. Now, they're not always going to have the things that you necessarily want. You kind of got to be ready and prepared to get the things when they're available, which is why I am trying to mass produce tools at the moment. We can sell other things as well. It's just tools happen to be, you know, they sell for a good price. Food is still going good, despite the increased size of the population. 17 adults, 11 kids, so we are getting a lot of kids. Food is going to become a problem. not in the not too distant future. So current season 187, so still a ways to go, but it's early summer. Got plenty of time to catch up. To extra housing, getting the trading post built. Yeah, the early summer of year 4 is pretty quick to be getting the trading post up. Now, one other thing that I do want to build, and I think this is where one of the mods might come in useful. The general store. It's smaller than a market. It provides a local area for citizens to collect food and other resources. So that's how large the area of effect is for the general store. The actual marketplace is absolutely huge, but it also takes up a lot of real estate. It does just about fit on the edge of the forest there, so pop that market in. We are running drastically low on everything once again, so let's just go round and we'll do stone first. So stone is getting further and further away. Not ideal. Let's also start collecting a bit more of the iron. Again, getting further and further away. Little patch there. Cool. And yeah, we still need a metric ton of trees chopped down. So I'm just going to set a massive area like this so that, I mean, they're not going to do it all immediately, but over time they will start just chipping away at all that and hauling it back to town. Trading post is getting built. Excellent stuff. Got 5 labourers. Let's add one of them as another builder. Let's add one. Do I want another gatherer? It can't hurt. Yeah, so it's going. The food's down to 1,500, which tells me it's starting to go down year upon year, and of course the population keeps growing, so that's only going to accelerate. So absolutely 100% next year, and in fact I'm going to build it over the winter. We are going to have our first farm. Now the mod that I put on, oh no, actually no, I think I actually turned it off. No, I didn't. No, it is working. So normally in the base game you can only do 15 by 15 fields, which I will be doing, but that mod allows you to do 20 by 20 fields. I've always felt that the 15 by 15 worked perfectly well. Don't feel that it's necessary to do that. Plus it will require more workers. Like you can get away with, sometimes you can get away with 3 workers on a farm. Oftentimes it's 4 that you'll need to you know, get the max yield. It really depends what crops you're working with as well. Anyway, 15 by 15, so that is going in for next year. So these do yield quite a lot of food. What seeds do we have starting with? Potatoes and beans. We'll do potatoes, but we will turn the work off because we don't want them to start doing this in autumn. It will just be a waste of time. Okay. End of year 4. We've got our trading post, we've got our market, we've got our first farm. We've got a nice little village building up here. We'll pop another home down by farm as well. Unfortunately, we've got this little mound here, so there's not a lot we can build on here, really. Although I can build the farms on there now, so I might actually take advantage of that mod I put on. Do a 9 by 15 field. I don't like these oddly shaped fields though, because I never quite know how many workers it will take to, you know, effectively man it. 13's close though. It's better than the space just going to waste. In fact, we probably won't have both of these farms work in the first year. I'll probably just turn this smaller one off. Oh, I did encroach on the forest just a little bit more than I would have liked there, but yeah, it's okay. Not the end of the world. We are desperately short of logs. Desperately, desperately. I did set them to chop this lot down, but there's other things that needed doing in town. So, oh yay, we have our trading post. I'm just going to put one guy in the trading post so that he can start moving the iron tools in here. So we'll get 100 of them over here to start with, which is nowhere near enough. We are going to need a lot more going in there before long. When this is going to work, we will want it doing beams, but as I said, we'll turn that off. Okay, so it's telling me only 2. Well, we can increase that, in fact, but it's suggesting that it only needs 2 people for this little farm. Depending on how... Oh, we've actually got 20 adults. We've got 3 laborers and 2 builders. We can probably take... No, okay, so yeah, we'll just have... Oh, it's early spring already, so I'm going to pause. So you want the farmers working the field as quickly as possible. So let's turn it on. I've set it to 3 people. Let's take 1 builder off so we have a labourer available. And then we've now got... Wait, yes, okay. So they're now sowing the seeds. Come back to the farm in a little while. Let's build a road leading out to the trading post. Let's build a new house for this year. Again, I'm going to try and focus on getting it near to the farm. We're not going to be able to build a farm here, so in fact, I'm just going to start putting some houses down this road here. We can see we've got some crops coming through. You can have a look at how the yield's doing. So they're just about finished planting seeds now, and it's just going to slowly grow. I'll be keeping an eye on it so that we can hopefully harvest the field a little bit earlier than when it gets to 100%, because essentially they will do the same thing again. They'll go from the bottom of the farm and work their way up. So if you start to harvest it when it's at maybe like 80% yield, they'll take all of these fully grown ones because they've been there the longest first, and then they'll slowly work their way over. But these will continue growing in the meantime, so that yield will start to go up. And one of the main reasons we want to harvest quicker than it will kind of auto do it is we can lose these crops quite easily if we don't harvest them quickly enough. If it gets to even late autumn, you're at a big risk of losing a lot of the output. We can see that we're in the middle of summer and we're at about 75% yield. Oh, and it's absolutely flying up now. I think once it gets to about 95, I will harvest. 90, 91, 92. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, get to harvesting. So that is going to bring in an absolute ton of food. We'll have a look at what the inventory says once the whole field is harvested. So it's early autumn and we've already got half of it done. I'm confident that we're going to get the full field's worth. Very nice. Could do with that house being built, but age-old problem, just not got the logs to do what we need to do. Just going to start going round the edge of the forest area here and just start taking some of these trees down rather than waiting for the forester to do it. Get the remaining trees over here. I've already marked those ones. Oh, do you know what it is? They may not be able to get over there. I would have thought they would be able to, because it is just a shallow stream. They should be able to just walk across that. Like they can't walk across here like the deer can. Well, actually, maybe they can. I'm not too sure. Been a while since I've played. Got lots of labourers now, which is good. Look at that food, 2838. Very good. Got more than enough food. And you know, with that, I think it's probably time to add in another house. Okay, so we've got 100 tools in there, and we've got 160 tools in our inventory. So let's start to move over some more. So we'll put another 80 in there. We'll just keep slowly building that over time. Ooh, definitely could do with thinking about. Ooh, only 50 leather. Yeesh. Yeah, could definitely do with thinking about making some more hide jackets. So let's get the tailor back to work. That market is being built, but it's got all its resources, which is good. Okay. I think it's actually time that we build another area like this, and we'll do it over here. So let's think. How do we want to place it? So we will want another another forester, another hunter's lodge, but this time rather than the gatherer's hut, we'll get the herbalist. So they'll collect medicines. Medicines aren't a big problem really early in the game, but you don't want to just forget about them. That is asking for trouble. Right. Forester Lodge. So don't really want it overlapping with the one over here, so think probably about there is right. We want a hunter's lodge, hunting cabin. Let's try and move it over this way a little bit. Cool. And we want the herbalist. Where are you? There. Great. Get a road leading over there. Sweet. We do need to just have one trader in the market. What they'll do is just stock up a little bit of everything in here. So as we can see, that storage barn was getting. Oops, sorry, just hit the microphone there. The storage barn is getting rather full, so it'll just start emptying out into the market, which has a much larger size.